The new Omicron variant of coronavirus is likely to pose a very high global risk, and some regions will face severe consequences from
The new Omicron variant.
Omicron variant.
Omicron variant.
Omicron.
Due to Omicron, a lot of people are suffering, not getting proper meals, and a lot of people have lost their job.
We can't gauge the amount of people just by, in our daily lives, how many impoverished people there are, especially after the pandemic. So after the project and during the project itself, personally, I got to know, the sheer scale of poor people, hungry people, just in an urban setting like Pune itself.
Though times are getting tough, we as a community are also getting more resilient and more aware to the fact that we are the people who are going to be able to support and help our community.
If you have a conscience, you are human. And if you have a conscience, I'm sure that you'll notice people, and at one point in time, you will be tired looking at this sheer amount of poverty.
Once they actually come on ground and see what the problem is, they'll realize that it's not a small problem and you cannot ignore it.
So I think you don't need people to encourage you to join in for such a cause. It's when you just start grasping what is around you, you'll automatically, it'll strike your conscience.
The one message that I'd like to give out is start volunteering, start doing community service, social work, because the satisfaction you get after doing it is really out of this world, and there's nothing in this world that can replace that.
Hi everyone, my name is Zainab Kapasi. So Project Aahar for us started as a very small initiative. We felt like, let's do something that's more republic, that connects people more, right? How do you really rejoice the fact that you're a country of 1 million people, 1 million souls together? We wanted to do something that connects us as a country, and what connects us more than connecting us through food? So what we wanted to do was that we wanted to serve as many people as we can in the simplest way possible.
So the idea behind the project was to basically feed as many people as possible on the auspicious occasion of Republic Day. Because of the current situation for the Omicron virus, we know that a lot of people are facing poverty.
So our aim was to provide some sort of aid which we can, as middle income, high income class individuals, which is our moral responsibility. So we wanted to essentially provide the basic need.
So our basis for the project was that we wanted to donate 1,000 plates. 1,000 is not a small number, right? It's a huge number. And for us to be able to do that, we needed a huge team of people. We are very, very fortunate to our club members who came in such huge numbers, because that really helped us reach out to so many people. But that also means that we have to coordinate with all of these people that are coming.
We had a brainstorming session and planned out that, okay, let's start collecting funds first. While collecting the funds, we then got in touch with a few vendors who could provide us with food kits that we could donate to these people. And on the day of the execution, we were a volunteer strength of 40 people who came together.
The planning was basically you get the food at one spot on the day and then start distribution. But the thing was that for the first time itself, the scale was large, very huge, 1,000 people. So on the day of the project, it was pretty haywire, but we knew that we had to improvise, and we did. So on the day, we got together and we planned it out, improvised as the hours progressed and as the project moved on.
So our beautiful team, they divided themselves out into groups. Each group went out to different locations all over Pune. So we basically covered your Vanori area, Kondwa area, camp, station. We went out towards Ferguson side also, towards the Swargate area, and basically covered a huge span of land in a very short time. So in a matter of couple of hours, we ended up speaking, we ended up meeting, and we ended up feeding over 1,000 people. That was our journey.
So we had an aim of raising 25,000 rupees. That was feeding almost 1,000 people. Luckily, we had a great turnout and we ended up raising much more than expected, and we could feed almost 1,400 people. So we had a great turnout.
We bought essentially food for 1,000 people. We expected 1,000 people, and it did turn out. on the day we were kind of doubtful that whether we would be able to deliver the food to 1,000 people. In fact, we could have serviced a lot more people, more than 1,000 people.
We went out to people on the streets, we went out to slums, we went out to meet children, we went out to meet old people, we spoke to them, we talked to them, we wished them Republic Day. A couple examples, we were traveling around on Vincent Street, and one of them, we wished them a very happy Republic Day, and he was like, Republic Day, what? And it just struck us that some of these people, they really don't even, it doesn't matter to them what day it is, what we're celebrating, but receiving that little plate of food was what brought them joy, and just magnify that into 1,000 plates. That's exactly what we did with Project Aahar.
So while donating food, the first thing that came to our mind that we thought would be that these people would desperately be very hungry, and when we actually went out on the streets, we found out that they were not just hungry for a single meal, but they also didn't have any water, or they didn't have basic necessities also.
Normally, we walk along roads, ride along them, drive along them. We notice poor people, we hand them a few rupees, but then we actually don't. We can't gauge the amount of people just by in our daily lives how many impoverished people there are, especially after the pandemic. So after the project and during the project itself, personally I got to know the sheer scale of poor people, hungry people, just in an urban setting like Pune itself.
Things as small as a smile or a greeting, or as small as respectfully giving food to someone that needs it, is also a huge act of service. So these are very subtle things that come in play when you are doing goodness from your heart, and I hope that we continue to share that goodness with complete genuineness and gratitude.
Now that the project is done, the feeling is great, but you still, like, after being on ground, you realize that it's not a one-time thing that needs to be done. This needs to be done regularly, and not just by a certain group of people, but many more people need to come together and take action, understand that this is a problem, and try working towards it and solving it. It's very important that people actually start contributing, but sitting at home, people don't realize what is the problem and how big the problem is. So to get more people to come and participate, I think a better idea would be to get them at least participate in one of the drives. Once they actually come on ground and see what the problem is, they'll realize that it's not a small problem and you cannot ignore it. And I think then you can get more number of people, and also by spreading awareness about this. So I believe that in today's day and time, we are privileged to be in a position in which we can help someone. And if you think that you can help someone even in the smallest of ways, you should definitely come forward and help them in whatever way you think is right.
If you have a conscience, you are human. And if you have a conscience, I'm sure that you'll notice people, and at one point in time, you will be tired of looking at this sheer amount of poverty in our city. So I think you don't need people to encourage you to join in for such a cause. It's when you just start noticing, when you start looking around yourself, start grasping what is around you, you'll automatically, it'll strike your conscience, and since it is already a moral responsibility, you'll automatically encouraged by your surroundings to join in the cause.
Now when I think about it, it just strikes me as how simple acts of service can really touch hearts, touch souls, and do better even for that one day. And I hope that this motivates me, this motivates my club members. I hope this continues to motivate all the people who supported us to reach out even more and keep continuing to do small acts of service, small acts of goodness, and keep spreading that joy.
The one message that I'd like to give out is start volunteering, start doing community service, social work, because the satisfaction and the content you get after doing it is really out of this world, and there's nothing in this world that can replace that.